All right, we're here. What a wonderful day. Kat,
Oh,
how are you?
hello everyone. Well, I'm fine, Dashon. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. We're both coming over a little bit of the crud, but I'm glad that we're here. And that's one of the nice things about being virtual is I'm not going to give you the crud. We're not going to exchange crud.
Yeah.
So that's nice. But we
That's
still get to
all.
hang out. Uh, Karen Beer's here. That's wonderful. Good morning, or good evening, where you're at. As always, when you're here in the live stream. Let us know where you're joining from, because my parents are always watching. Right, they're one of the people that are watching. So thanks. What's been going on? I feel like it's been so long since we've done one of these. It hasn't really,
Yes.
but
Yeah. So last year.
yeah.
So almost feels like a year has passed. Right. But yeah, so I've been doing great. I have lots of plans for this year with Java and Spring Boot and all the new and cool stuff that's cooking. Right. And so today we are going to discuss a very exciting topic, which is ephemeral containers. Right. And that's exciting because, first of all, it's kind of like a continuation of mine and Dashawn's series on profiling your Spring Boot application. Right. And on the other hand, ephemeral containers are super useful in other scenarios as well. So, right, for example, when you need to debug a target container, right? So
Before
I'm
we
going.
go, I want to say a few things. Uh, this has been awesome. I've loved doing this little series with you, and you do all the work. I want everybody to know that you do all the work. I do nothing. I'm just kind of here to hang out and learn. And I said before the show, I feel like this is just a session for me to learn. And I feel like when we come on and you're just teaching me, then it works. It's been a great yeah, it's been a great little series, we'll call it. So I want to say thanks, and I want to let everybody know that you do all the work, and I'm just along for the ride. I also wanted to say, great job on all the rest of your content. You do a really good job of putting things out in
Thanks,
high quality. So I just want to say thank you.
thanks,
Okay, now
Dashawn.
go on. Now teach me something.
Right, it's my pleasure. All right, so before we dive into coding, oh my God, I've got this thing about diving in because I have been using this expression all the time, and then AI came in, and now dive in is kind of like forbidden. So if you use dive
Oh,
in, it's kind of like you're using AI or something. That's a shame. All right, before we dig in, before we exploit or
yes.
explore, right? So a bit of theory. So what the heck are ephemeral containers, and why do you even need them, right? So an ephemeral container, if you work with Kubernetes, you might be familiar with the concept because they offer this functionality of spinning up ephemeral containers. But if you don't have Kubernetes or if you don't use it, right, so you can still uh, grab this functionality and benefit from it because essentially an ephemeral container is the container that can be started at any point of time, and it is run temporarily to accomplish some task, right? So for instance, your target container is not responding and you want to do a debugging session, or you want to do a profiling session, right, and to know how the app is doing, right, and how are things going with the JVM. So ephemeral container is essentially a tool to accomplish that, right? So it contains all the necessary tooling, whether it is debugging tooling or tooling for profiling, right? And then you just spin it up, do some task, and then you just scale it down.
That
So
makes
as
sense.
it is, yeah, it makes sense, yeah, and that's super useful, right? Especially if also you don't have a shell in your target container. So today we are going to talk about profiling, right? And we are
Okay.
using tool packs. And if you know, and I hope you know, that Spring Boot 3.4 offers you the opportunity to build the container image using build packs, and is going to base on Ubuntu Tiny, right? So this way we are getting a smaller container image, but the thing is that it doesn't contain a shell, right? So
Yes.
And that's a trick. Well, that's kind of tricky, right? So what do we do there? Like we want to profile our application. How do we access the container, right? So that's where ephemeral container helps us, right? So because it does contain a shell, and you can attach to the target container, right, and work with it from the ephemeral container. So moving to profiling, right? So it's one of the scenarios when you need ephemeral containers, and that's what I'm going to show you today. We have already discussed different profiling approaches, right? Using the Java Flight Recorder, right? It's built into the JVM, right? So it's a part of OpenJDK, right? And there are different third-party profilers. For instance, Async profiler, right? So it's also open source, free to use, but it's not part of the OpenJDK, so you have to install it separately.
Kat, I didn't realize this. Today's actually it's an anniversary over on Twitch. I've been a Twitch affiliate, uh, yeah,
Whoa.
for a couple of years, and today's the anniversary. So you're celebrating with me, and I want to say thanks to Fubar Kicks for reminding us that it is a affiliate universe or anniversary. So thanks. That's it. That's it. It's just a happy day.
That's great. Yeah, every day is a happy day, so I like when there is an occasion to celebrate anything. Like, yeah. So that's cool. That's cool. All right. So we have the JFR, right, and we have third-party profilers. So if we have, we can profile the application right from the start, right? Sometimes it might be important if you want to understand how many resources your application consumes at start, for instance, right? So you can do that at start, and in this case, you have to include the profiler into the target container with the application, right? And then when you start this container image, the profiler also starts, right? And starts profiling right from the application startup, which is cool. But we don't always need that scenario, right? So we
Right.
don't, we can, of course, JFR is low overhead, Async profiler is low overhead, so you can run them in production continuously. You can, but sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes all you want is to connect to the application,
Yep.
right, at any point of time, what's going on, and then disconnect. That's it.
Yep.
So,
Milliseconds matter.
yep,
Milliseconds matter, right? Sometimes
yeah,
that extra overhead, that's
exactly.
the difference.
Exactly, right. So, and you can do that as well, of course, with JFR. But to activate the JFR at some point of time, you need a JCMD tool, right? It's part of the JDK, not JRE. So, keep note of that here. So
Okay.
we run our application on JRE, and that already includes JFR. Yeah.
Yep.
But we don't want to build our container based on JDK to include JCMD, right? Because it's going to be bigger. And we
Right.
don't want it to be bigger. We are fighting for every megabyte here, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you need to use the JCMD from the outside, right? So in a perfect scenario, connect, then activate the JFR, connect the profiling, and then get the file. Right. So that's one use case. Another thing, if you're building a container image with build packs, as I already said, there is no shell, right? So
Right.
even if you build your image based on JDK, you can't access it, right? Because there's no shell. You can't handle the container. So of course you can choose another base image, right? You can use
Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to
yeah,
do that.
but nobody wants to do that.
Right.
Exactly. Right. So you can, of course, you can do everything, right? Whatever you want. That's
Yep.
great. But you don't want to, right? We don't want to do that. So an ephemeral container is a perfect solution in this case, right? And using it is actually pretty straightforward, and you will be amazed how simple it is, actually,
Well, I'm
right?
excited to see. I'm wondering how is the ephemeral container going to connect to the build pack based JVM?
The key thing here is to place it in the same PID namespace as the container image, and that's what I'm going to show you, and that
Okay.
will do the trick, right? That's actually super easy.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So before we dig into coding,
We're not going to
uh,
dive in. We're going to dig in.
yeah, we're digging,
Yeah.
right? We're digging. We're the diggers.
Okay.
Right. Hopefully not gold diggers. Okay. So before that, I'm going to send you the link. Dashan, could you please send it to
Yep.
the chat? Right. So this is the article with copy and paste code examples, so that you could follow along, right? And well, grab the code from there. Right, and this article covers different scenarios of using JFR, right, with Docker files, with build packs from the start, from ephemeral containers. So you'll find everything there, right? And okay, so without further ado, let me share my screen.
While you do that, I'm going to try to find a video to when we did profiling.
Yeah.
And I'll put that link for anybody that's interested in going back and watching that, because that was a solid one. I think that one might have been our best one.
Hey.
All right, I'm going to add your screen. Are you ready for me to bring your screen up?
Yeah, sure.
All right. And
Okay, so let me just make it a little bit.
I'm going to make us smaller. There we go.
Okay. So I think it's okay, right? Yeah, you can see that. All right. So we are going to start with building a container image based on the build packs. Well, actually, I have already built it beforehand so that we don't waste time, right? So it's Spring Pet Clinic, right? Our favorite Pet Clinic. So as you can see, 3.4, so that's the new Spring Boot version. And as you can see, it takes 279 megabytes. So it means that it's actually based on Ubuntu Tiny, right? So everything is set up. And to demonstrate that we can't enter the container, let me just run it. That's right. So, oops, sorry. Okay, Docker run. So I'm just setting the port. And you don't have to specify any additional options, actually. So you're just running the container as you are used to. So we don't need anything, right? So we are giving the name to our container. So, for example, pet, right? And that's the name of the application, right? So the application has started, right?
Rama's in the audience. Rama says,
Yeah.
2 amazing advocates for technology, hashing things out. Love it. This is awesome. Happy to see you, Ram.
Great. So I'm going to open the new tab. Can you see that? No, you can't see the new tab.
I cannot see the new tab.
Right. Okay. So I'm just going to run the container in the detach mode. So that's okay. Okay. Detach mode. Right. So here we go. Oops. I forgot to. Yeah. No. What did I do wrong? Just a sec.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. So I guess unknown D, right? Okay. So maybe that's double. Oops. Sorry. Okay, so oh right, yeah, I deleted run accidentally. Silly me. Oops. Okay, and now we have the container docker stop pet. That's okay. That's just live coding session.
Yeah, that's what we do.
So it should do the trick. All right, so everything's fine. Great. So the application is running.
Okay.
So you, if you try to use a shell, right, to enter the container, and you can use like docker exec for that, docker exec it pat as ash, right? So execution failed because there is no shell, right? So now we know that there's no shell in this container. Okay. Right, so the container is running, and now that's the most interesting part comes. We want to attach an ephemeral container. So how do we do that? Let me just...
That's what we're here for. Is the stream over once you do this? Because this is kind of cool all by itself.
Right. So I'm going to show you the Docker file that you can use to build an ephemeral container, right? So as you can see, it contains only one line, right? From Bellsoft Liberica runtime container, JDK 21. So Liberica runtime container is based on Liberica JDK, which is recommended by Spring. right? So you should definitely try it out. And Liberica JDK is also used in build packs by default. So it's kind of nice to unify your runtimes, right? So use Liberica everywhere. And it's also based on Alpaquita Muscle. So that is our small Linux distribution, super small and very good for Java development because it contains all the latest versions of Liberica GTK, Liberica Native Image Kit, and even the async profiler package. So it's very convenient. All right, so your ephemeral container will only contain the JDK because that's all we need. Right? We don't need anything else because JDK contains the JCMD, and for that purpose, that will do. Right? Okay, so I actually already built this container, which is, well, no big deal, right? You
Okay.
just run docker build. And now it's called, just a sec, it's called FJDK, right? So here it is, 100 megabytes, because it contains only the JDK, nothing else. So we want to attach, right?
Yes.
So we are running this container, right? And we need some options. Here we need some options. So first of all, we need to add the capability system ptrace to gain access to JVM performance information, right? In some cases, maybe you don't need that, but I do. You need to also this option for security. Confined, right? Then what? That's the thing here, right? So you remember that we gave our container the name pet, right?
Yes.
So what we need is to okay, that's going to be the name of our ephemeral container, is to place it in the same PID namespace as I said, right? So that's why we need the option PID, right? So container, and then you're specifying the name of the container that you want to attach to. That's the most important option here,
Okay.
right? PID, container, and the name of the container, right? And then we are running it in interactive mode. The container is called if JDK, and we are going to SSH into it right away. Yeah. So again, right? So Docker run, capability, system ptrace, right? Security option, Ephemeral unconfined, right? Sometimes you may need that, sometimes you don't. Right. So, but I do. The name of our new ephemeral container, attaching, right, to the target container through the PID namespace, right? Interactive mode, and SSH. Great. Fabulous. That's it.
Fantastic.
As
So
simple
now
as that.
we're
As simple as
in the pet clinic container.
Yes, exactly. That's it. That's here. That signifies that we are in the target container.
Wow.
That's just how it is. I mean, amazing, isn't it? Just
Yes.
wonderful, right? And here, from here, we can start our profiling session, right? So you can run JCMD. So that's the ID of the running Java process, jar launcher. As far as you remember, when we use build packs, they create the layered jar,
Yeah.
right? And jar launcher is the one that knows how to work with the layered jar. So that's it. That's our application, right? And now we can start the recording session, right? So, and here we need JCMD, then the ID of the process, then JFR start. You can set the duration, for instance, 15 seconds, right?
Perfect. I was going to say 15 seconds.
Yeah, because that's great, right? So we don't have to wait too long, and we don't need to, right? So we are not studying the profiling information right now. TMP maybe someday. And we can give the file name, right? So for example, recording.jfr, as simple as that.
Okay.
Right. And we have started the recording, right? So, and the file will be written to the TMP directory of our target container, right? So it's going to be there. So we will need to extract that with simple Docker CP, right? So we're going to copy the file from the container, and we don't need to enter that.
This is amazing. Can I do this with any container?
Yeah, yeah,
This concept, Karen said like, hey, Cat's also from the Nano gang. Right? We use Nano to edit. Like just that, like a container that just had Nano that I could go in to any running container. This is my mind is like, how is this even possible? I'm still like trying to wrap my head around it. This is really cool, and man, I wish I had this functionality, even if it was just with Nano. Like this is really really cool. So I am fully sucked in. I'm diving in. I'm diving into the deep end. Tell me more.
yeah. Right, but again, that's really nothing challenging, right? I was amazed myself to know that well, you just need a couple of options, and then you can attach the target container. And that's it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So and that's one use case scenario. So you can do the profiling, but you can also do the debugging, for instance, right? So that's a separate topic.
Yeah.
All right, you can do that. So I think 15 seconds have passed, so we are exiting the container. Right. So we need to stop the target container for a sec because that's when the file is going to be created. So, and then we're starting it again. And now what we do is simply copy the file into some directory, right? So for that
Oh,
purpose, we
and the
need
file got written to the pet container.
yeah. So the file is written into the target container, right? Because that's where the JFR is, right? So
Wow.
the
Yeah.
JFR is in the target container.
Yeah.
So and the file is going to be in the target container. So let's find out the ID of our pet container. By the way, there is another useful command how to find out the ID of the running container, right? So without listing them all. So it's IQF, and then you're going to give to the name, right? So that's it. Yeah. Right. So the only problem here in this case is that I have two
You have pet. Yeah.
containers with pet in them, right?
Got
So
it.
that's why. But this command will work if you have a
Yep.
unique name for your container, not like me. All right. So that is which one? This one. And let me just clean my screen. So we found out the ID of the container, it's running, and now we can just do Docker CP, right? So with the container ID, and that's it. And there is our TMP directory. We remember that, right? So recording.jfr. Yeah, and I forgot to add. Just a sec. I think. Oh, sorry.
We need another colon. Yeah.
Yeah, I have misplaced the ID, so that was supposed to go instead of the container ID
Got it.
placeholder, right? So that's the correct command, right? So
Okay.
you are specifying the container ID, right? And where exactly is the file that you are copying? Huh, finally, yeah,
All right.
right. That's it. So let me just share. Okay, stop sharing for a second and share, I guess, my whole screen. Um,
Oh,
okay, right. So,
all right. I'm gonna bring it back up.
yep. So here it is, our recording.jfr, right? So that's where it is copied, right? Catherine downloads F, and that's here it is. So the recording, and you can
Yeah.
open it then in mission control, for instance, library mission control,
Yeah.
right? That's the tool for analyzing the JFR files. So it,
Syringer's here. Syringer says very cool concept and helpful tool. This right beyond what it's going to do for our Spring and Java friends. Like beyond that, like this is just you've taught me something really really cool just around containers. This
yeah,
is super powerful.
yeah, that's an amazing concept, exactly. Right, and here it is. Here's our JFR file. It has tons of information, right? And so, well, yeah, analyzing it may take a while, but still, the profiling is done, right? So,
This is there's been so many times like this is I need to practice this. This is a skill that I need to practice because so many times like, oh, how do we debug that? It this is a shortcut. This is a cheat code,
yeah.
and I'm a little like I shouldn't be embarrassed. Uh, I just nobody showed me before. This is really really cool.
Well, yeah, I found out that myself only like maybe a couple of months ago as I was doing my research, right? Because I was thinking, how can we profile the application if there's no shell in the container, right? And I was dying to share this with the world, share this
Yeah,
information. Because,
yeah. And Rom says, "I'm glad I'm not the only one seeing this for the first time. Thanks. Very cool tool. Thank you.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
this
Well,
is
that's it, basically.
that
With ephemeral containers.
that is like that is just super cool. Like this is just a super powerful tool beyond what it's going to do for your Java workloads. This is just a cool tool, right? How many times have you run into a container that didn't have a shell? Like
Exactly. Exactly.
problem something that's not a problem. It's not a problem anymore.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really cool. Yeah, and you can also do this trick with the containers with native images, right? So my
Wait,
colleague,
what?
oh yeah, yeah, but
Oh
yeah,
wow.
I have an article actually on that. Well, not me. That
We'll find
was
it.
written by my colleague
Yeah.
Dmitry Chiko, right? So. Um,
So
Please just get to know that it's super cool stuff. And Dmitry has been researching this topic for a while, and he's been doing this debugging native images topic for a long time. And yes, you can basically use ephemeral containers with native images too to debug native images too, and that's great.
well now I've been doing a lot of Spring AI with MCP. Well now I'm figuring out that I could rate an agent that could go in and inspect containers that are running in production. But just like
Yeah,
go in, see what's going on without
yeah.
having to modify the containers that are already in production. You've given me a door to go in and inspect containers that are running in production.
That is super cool. I mean, you simply have to do that and tell me the results, right? So you simply have to do that
Oh, this this is cool.
and tell me how it's going. This is going to be amazing. That's
Cat,
great. Yeah.
you this is my mind. This is what my mind looks like. This is what I look like when my mind is just racing. You have come in. You undersold what we were going to be doing today. You undersold it because all we said was ephemeral containers. But what you've given us is a really powerful tool for all the things that we do in this containerized work. Yeah, that we do. This
Yeah.
is awesome. So I'm going to say thank you so much. It's always a pleasure, and I look
Well,
forward to doing this again. I shared the link to the last one. I shared the link to the blog. I think everybody's got something cool to go out and take a
great.
look at. Do you
Great.
have a blog with this one too?
Yeah, so these two links that I gave you. So this one,
Okay.
the first one with the
Oh
JFR and
yeah,
the second
it
one
is.
in the images. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm gonna put that
Right.
first link back up uh, because I can. So
Right.
this is great. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm super happy that it was so useful to everyone. I mean, really happy. I'm so excited to research and do stuff that is useful to other developers and to tell them about that. I mean, that's kind of my goal as a developer advocate and
Fantastic.
my career path, right? To be useful. And so yeah, that was a session like a half an hour, right? But we learned something extremely important today, right? So extremely,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much, everybody else. Hey, thanks for stopping in, and we'll see you next time. Take
Yeah.
care.
Until
You
next
want to?
time.
Yeah, bye.
Bye bye.